Hey warriors, welcome back to the channel. I once watched my best friend destroy himself by being the good guy. He gave everything, his time, his peace, his love, to people who didn't even remember his name. 3 years later, I met him again. He wasn't broken anymore. He was calm and ruthless. He told me one line I'll never forget. The world didn't change. I did. I stopped being easy to break. That line hit me hard, because it wasn't just his story. It was mine, and maybe it's yours too. Right now, there are 2 versions of you. Version 1, the one who explains, forgives, and keeps hoping others will change. You give, you bend, you try to please. But the more you give, the less people value you. Version 2, the one who stays silent, strong, and certain, who doesn't argue or beg, who walks away without guilt or noise. You've lived as version 1 for too long, and it's killing your power. It made you soft where you should be sharp, kind where you should be wise. Machiavelli once said, "It is better to be feared than loved if you cannot be both." He wasn't teaching cruelty, he was teaching control. Today, I'll show you how to awaken version 2, the ruthless version of you, the one who no longer breaks for others. There are 8 mental shifts that separate these 2 versions. Each one will cost you something. But when you finish, you'll walk away unrecognizable, stronger, colder, clearer. You'll stop searching for peace from others and start creating it within. Before we begin, type this in the comments: I will not break again. Stop giving yourself to the ungrateful. Your biggest weakness wasn't your heart, it was where you gave it. You kept pouring energy into people who took, but never gave back. You forgave, explained, helped, hoping they'd see your worth. But they never did. Why? Because what's freely given is taken for granted. People think if you give too much, it's because you need approval. And once they sense your need, they own you. That's how weakness begins. Not from failure, but from emotional dependence disguised as kindness. Machiavelli said, "Men are quicker to offend one who is loved than one who is feared." The ungrateful hurt you because they don't fear losing you. They know you'll stay. They know you'll forgive. They know your mercy is predictable, and that makes it invisible. You trained them to disrespect you by tolerating it. You proved your worth by explaining it, and that killed your power. The world doesn't destroy you because you're kind. It destroys you because you confuse kindness with weakness. Some people are emotional predators. They feed on your guilt. They twist your empathy into a weapon. Stop giving loyalty just because you once cared. Your care is a privilege, not a right. Give it only to those who earn it with respect. Everyone else should feel the power of your absence. Detachment is your shield. Indifference is your revenge. Machiavelli warned, "Men are ungrateful, fickle, and false." He meant, never give power to those who use it to weaken you. Goodness without limits is self-destruction. Ruthlessness isn't cruelty, it's correction. It's when you stop rewarding betrayal with access. When you stop answering every call. When you stop explaining your silence. That's when power shifts. You become the one who decides who gets your energy and who fades away. The world belongs to those who protect their energy like a weapon, not those who waste it like a wish. Every drop of effort you spend on the wrong people steals power from your future. Withdraw it, keep it, rebuild it. Let them wonder where your warmth went. Tell them, it froze when you finally saw the truth. Some people deserve your distance more than your devotion. Type this in the comments. My kindness has limits. Turn pain into power. Pain is the most honest teacher. It doesn't lie, it doesn't flatter, it exposes you. It burns away weakness until only the real you remains. The difference between the broken and the powerful isn't pain. It's what they do with pain. Weak people drown in it because they expect fairness. They wait for healing. But ruthless people know pain is currency. You can waste it by complaining or invest it in growth. The strong use pain as information. It shows you exactly where your weakness lives. Every betrayal shows who you trusted too easily. Every rejection reveals where you placed your worth. Every loss exposes your illusions. Machiavelli said, "Never waste the opportunity offered by a good crisis." Every moment of suffering is a chance to evolve. Pain is not punishment, its direction. And if you learn from it instead of running from it, you'll rise from destruction sharper, colder, and unstoppable. You don't need to be cruel to be strong, you just need to stop being easy to break. Because in this world, the ruthless survive, and the wise rule. When you start seeing pain differently, it stops being a wound and becomes a weapon. You begin using it to sharpen your mind instead of destroy it. This is the dark psychology of transformation, turning suffering into strategy. Most people cry just to feel better. The strong reflect to become better. When they're hurt, they don't chase closure, they create power. They study their enemies instead of hating them. They analyze their mistakes instead of escaping them. They turn heartbreak into emotional discipline and disappointment into focus. That is the essence of Machiavellian resilience, using the cruelty of the world as fuel, not as chains. Pain is the fire where strength is born. When life breaks you, it's showing you your true self, without masks. So stop running from pain. Sit with it. Feel every bit of the fire. Because once you survive your own suffering, no one can control you with fear. The moment you stop fearing pain, you become unpredictable. And unpredictability is power. When people try to guilt trip or reject you, it no longer works. Why? Because you've already faced worse. And survived. Machiavelli said that a wise man learns more from misfortune than from comfort. Pain wakes you up. It forces growth. It kills illusions. You begin seeing people for who they really are, not who you wish they were. You start choosing logic over emotion. The more you endure, the calmer you become. You move like someone who has already been through the fire and lived. That calm energy commands respect, because it's dangerous. People feel it when you walk into a room, the aura of someone who has turned every wound into wisdom. You stop hiding your scars. You wear them like armor. Your silence becomes heavy. Your gaze, unshakable. That's when you know you've crossed the line, from being shaped by pain to shaping others through it. So next time life hurts you, don't curse it. Study it. Ask yourself, what lesson or advantage is hidden here? Because every bit of pain carries a seed of power, if you're ruthless enough to use it. Drop this in the comments. My pain builds power. Kill the need to be understood. The need to be understood is a trap. It keeps powerful minds stuck in weakness. You keep explaining yourself, hoping people will see your truth and good intentions. But here's the harsh reality. Most people don't care to understand you. They only care to label you. They don't listen to know you, they listen to find weakness. And in dark psychology, understanding means control. When people know your motives, they can manipulate you. That's why the ruthless stay silent. They let others guess, assume, and project, while staying untouchable. Machiavelli said, "He who wishes to be obeyed must know how to command. And to command, you must never over-explain. Explaining is a defensive move. It shows you still want validation. Real power doesn't justify itself, it simply exists. The most intimidating people are the ones who don't explain why they act, feel, or disappear. Their silence creates tension. And that tension creates respect. The weak beg to be seen. The strong choose to be misunderstood. When you stop defending yourself, you become unpredictable. And unpredictability is fear's twin. People can't control what they can't read. That's why the greatest leaders and strategists in history spoke less than they knew and acted more than they explained. Every time you rush to explain your intentions, you give people the blueprint to your emotions. You're teaching them how to disarm you. Transparency feels pure, but in power, it's dangerous. Because when people dissect you, they destroy your mystery. And mystery is part of your strength. Machiavelli said, "The wise man does at once what the fool does finally." The wise stop justifying themselves early. The fool keeps talking until he's exposed. You owe no one an explanation for your silence, distance, or standards. Let them misunderstand. Let them assume you've become cold, arrogant, or detached. Every false label they give you becomes another layer of armor. The moment you stop correcting them, you take back control. Because real control lives in restraint. Silence isn't weakness. It's weaponized composure. It makes people uneasy because they can't predict your next move. And when they can't predict you, they respect you. Think about the most powerful people you've met. They weren't loud, they were calm. Their presence alone demanded attention, not because they shouted, but because they didn't need to. Every word they didn't say spoke louder than 1,000 justifications. You must become that kind of presence, a mystery no one can fully read, a storm that never announces itself. When someone tries to provoke you, let your silence crush their ego. When someone misjudges you, let them drown in their own assumptions. The truth is your weapon. Don't waste it trying to prove your innocence. Those who deserve to understand you already will. Those who demand explanations never cared about the truth anyway. Power isn't about convincing others. It's about becoming so certain of yourself that their confusion no longer matters. When you stop needing to be understood, you finally begin to understand yourself. Drop this in the comments. My silence speaks power. Detach, don't beg. Begging for attention, love, or closure is how powerful people lose their strength. The more you chase what's walking away, the smaller you become in the eyes of those who never planned to value you. Detachment isn't coldness, it's control. It's the skill of walking away from anything that threatens your self-respect, no matter how much you wanted it. Most people confuse attachment with loyalty, but they are opposites. Loyalty is strength. Attachment is dependence. The world teaches you that fighting for people proves you care. But in truth, the one who chases always loses power. When you beg for time, love, or attention, you send a message of weakness. And weakness always attracts exploitation. Machiavelli said, "The one who is not master of himself cannot be master of others." When your emotions control you, anyone can control you. The ruthless don't detach because they lack emotion. They detach because they refuse to be owned by emotion. When someone pulls away, they don't argue, they observe. When someone disrespects them, they don't explain, they vanish. Silence becomes their sword. Absence becomes their message. In a world built on emotional manipulation, detachment is rebellion. It terrifies manipulators because it kills their favorite weapon, your reaction. When you stop reacting, you become unreadable. And when you're unreadable, you become feared. The secret weapon of the powerful is not anger, it's indifference. Indifference burns colder than hate and lasts longer than love. Once people can't predict your response, they lose control over your mind. That's when your energy shifts. You stop waiting, you start deciding. Those who once ignored you begin to notice your silence, because silence from someone who once cared loudly is louder than any confrontation. Detachment gives you quiet authority, the power to walk away with your peace intact. Machiavelli believed that emotional control is the foundation of every great ruler. Those who cannot detach are always ruled by those who can. He said, "Men are driven by two things, love or fear. If you master your attachment, you control both." The ruthless understand. Not everyone deserves access. Not every emotion deserves expression. Not every relationship deserves revival. Learn to withdraw without drama. Close doors quietly. Let your distance feel like a consequence. That's psychological warfare in its most elegant form. The more you detach, the more power returns to you. You'll realize that peace doesn't come from connection. It comes from control. True strength is being able to love deeply, yet walk away the moment your self-respect is threatened. Detachment doesn't mean you don't care. It means you care wisely, about yourself first. Because when you stop begging, you stop bleeding. And when you stop bleeding, no one can feed on you again. Drop this in the comments. I choose peace over people. Boundaries are your armor. Boundaries are invisible walls that separate power from chaos. Without them, anyone can walk into your life, take what they want, and leave you empty. You've been taught that saying no is selfish, but the truth is, no boundaries mean self-betrayal. Every time you allow disrespect, every time you forgive without consequence, every time you keep the peace by losing yourself, you give away your strength. Weak people think tolerance is power. The ruthless know better. They understand that a heart without armor is a target. Machiavelli wrote, "A prince who is not wise himself cannot be well advised," meaning, if you can't guard yourself, no one else can. The world doesn't honor openness, it exploits it. The same people who smile at your kindness today will use your forgiveness tomorrow. People always test the limits you refuse to enforce. Boundaries aren't walls to keep people out. They're gates that protect what's sacred inside you. They aren't cruelty, they're clarity. And clarity terrifies manipulators because it removes their control. In dark psychology, boundaries are weapons. Whoever enforces them controls the terms of every relationship. When you calmly say no, you show dominance. When you cut access after betrayal, you prove your worth isn't up for debate. The powerful don't argue about respect, they demonstrate it through distance. Forgiveness without consequence is submission. Mercy without limits invites chaos. The moment you stop rewarding bad behavior, people fall silent. The weak will call it ego. The wise will recognize it as self-command. Machiavelli said, "He who allows himself to be deceived deserves deception." You teach others how to treat you by what you tolerate. When you start protecting your peace like a fortress, the parasites disappear, the noise fades, and your strength returns. Boundaries filter the loyal from the fake. They make your presence earned, not available. To live without boundaries is to live without dignity. To live with them is to rule your world with quiet power. The ruthless know, kindness without defense invites destruction. So build your walls, not from fear, but from wisdom. Because the goal isn't to be liked, it's to be respected. Every boundary you set declares one truth: this is where my peace begins. Those who truly value you will never ask you to lower your armor, they'll honor it. Drop this in the comments. My boundaries protect me. Master the art of silence. Most people fear silence because it shows they're not in control. They talk just to fill the air, to look confident, or to feel noticed. But every useless word gives others a chance to use your emotions against you. The wise know, in a world full of noise, silence is power. Machiavelli said, "Never show all your thoughts." Once people can read your emotions, they can control your reactions. Silence makes you unreadable. It turns you into a mystery. When others can't guess your thoughts, they lose power. The quiet one in the room always holds more strength than the one shouting for attention. In dark psychology, silence is not emptiness, it's strategy. When you stay quiet, others reveal themselves. They expose their fears, motives, and secrets while trying to understand you. The ruthless use this to their advantage. They listen more than they speak, observe more than they explain, and act more than they promise. The weak rush to prove themselves. The strong wait and strike at the perfect time. Every pause increases your authority. Every quiet moment forces others to talk, and in their words, they expose their weaknesses. Machiavelli believed that power grows through perception. The less people know about your plans, the more they fear them. Silence makes people imagine, and what they imagine often scares them more than the truth. Silence is not your absence, it's your presence, magnified. You don't need to shout to be heard, your calm speaks louder. The loud ones crave power. The silent ones already have it. When someone insults you, stay silent and let their guilt destroy them. When someone provokes you, don't react. Let their frustration expose their weakness. Your silence will echo louder than any argument. People expect noise. Silence confuses them. In stillness lies control. Machiavelli said, "The wise man does at once what the fool does finally." Fools defend themselves with words. The wise protect themselves with silence. Once you stop explaining yourself, you move from emotional to strategic. You stop playing defense and start leading the game. Power doesn't ask to be understood, it demands to be felt. Silence makes you unpredictable. Unpredictability brings respect. When you can hold your tongue, you can hold your power. And in a world where everyone wants to be heard, the one who masters silence becomes impossible to defeat. Affirmation: my silence controls chaos. Never give blind loyalty. Loyalty is a weapon only when used wisely. The moment you give it blindly, it becomes your cage. Machiavelli warned, people are selfish and ungrateful. Expecting pure loyalty invites betrayal. True power belongs to those who know when to align and when to walk away. Blind loyalty kills independence. When you show total devotion to someone, a friend, leader, or partner, they stop respecting you. They start seeing your loyalty as weakness. The loyal become predictable. And in the game of power, predictability is death. In dark psychology, loyalty must be strategic, not emotional. It should serve your growth, protection, and success. When it no longer does, it must end. Most people stay loyal out of fear of being alone or judged. But these are the same people who get betrayed and replaced when they are no longer useful. The powerful stay loyal to purpose, not people. Your loyalty should be a mask, not your identity. Wear it when it benefits you. Remove it when it becomes a trap. This isn't cruelty, it's wisdom. Machiavelli said, "Never depend fully on one thing or one person. Dependence destroys freedom, and freedom is the root of dominance. Never reveal where your true loyalty lies. Let people believe you're on their side, while you remain free inside." The illusion of loyalty is stronger than loyalty itself. It keeps others comfortable while keeping you untouchable. Kings fall because they trust too much. Followers die because they serve too deeply. When you're too loyal, people test and exploit you. They stop fearing your absence, and without fear, respect dies. The moment people know you can walk away, your loyalty becomes valuable again. Give loyalty like a sword, sharp and deliberate. Never give it like a gift. Gifts are forgotten, but weapons are remembered. This mindset makes you unpredictable, and that's the ultimate power. No one can control what they cannot define. Affirmation: my loyalty is power, not weakness. The essence of Machiavellian power. That's the real essence of Machiavellian power: to stay a mystery in plain sight. To look loyal, but stay independent. The modern world may call this cold or heartless, but only the weak say that. The same ones who worship those who betrayed them. Remember this truth: loyalty without strategy is self-betrayal. You owe nothing to anyone who wouldn't stand for you when you fall. Your loyalty belongs to your purpose, not to people who come and go. Become untouchable. Becoming untouchable is the highest level of power. It means no insult, betrayal, or manipulation can shake you. It's not about arrogance. It's about control over yourself. Life will always bring chaos. People will test you, lie to you, and try to break your peace. The weak will react. The fearful will fall apart. But the untouchable, they move through life calm and unbothered, like shadows over a battlefield. Machiavelli said, "He who is wise will be master of himself. He who is mastered by others is never free." Freedom begins when you master yourself. To become untouchable, stop chasing love, attention, or validation. They are traps that keep you tied to other people's control. The world doesn't reward kindness. It respects power, self-control, and clarity. When you stop relying on others to make you feel worthy, you reclaim your energy. That energy becomes a fortress, protecting you from lies, guilt, and manipulation. The untouchable build themselves with intention. They invest in skills, discipline, and strategy, not approval. They stay calm, patient, and confident without noise. Their power isn't shown through words, it's felt through presence. People fear what they can't control. When you detach from expectation and emotion, you become unpredictable. A mystery no one can read. They can't control someone who doesn't react. The untouchable act from strategy, not emotion. Their anger is controlled. Their fear is irrelevant. Their silence is powerful. They move with purpose, never panic. You become the calm center in a world full of chaos. Others crumble. You remain still. Machiavelli said, "It is better to be feared than loved if you cannot be both." Being feared doesn't mean spreading terror. It means commanding respect. It's the quiet message that crossing you has a price. Untouchability is not about isolation. It's about protection. It's knowing that no betrayal, insult, or loss can break your peace. You stop being a reflection of others' opinions. You become the result of your own willpower. To reach this state, you must let go of emotional chains, the need to explain, to forgive, to be liked, to be understood. Rise above attachment, resentment, and longing. The untouchable understand that everything external is temporary, so they anchor themselves within. That anchor cannot be shaken by any circumstance. When you reach this level, power becomes effortless. People feel it the moment you walk in, some respect it, others fear it, but none can ignore it. You no longer play other people's games. You are the game. You move through life as the standard of power, control, and presence. You are untouchable because you have mastered the only thing that matters, yourself. Affirmation: nothing can break me. The world will test you. It will betray your trust, punish your kindness, and shatter your illusions of fairness. But from now on, you know the truth. You owe your peace to no one. You owe your loyalty to your purpose. And you owe your power only to yourself. You now hold the blueprint to become someone who cannot be used, manipulated, or broken. Someone untouchable. I am untouchable. Now you've stopped giving your energy to the ungrateful. You've turned your pain into power. You no longer chase to be understood. You've detached from everything that drains you. You've built strong boundaries that no one can cross. You've learned the power of silence, earned respect through calmness, used loyalty with intelligence, and transformed yourself into someone untouchable. None of this came from luck. None of it was easy. Every step you took made you stronger, and with each one, the world lost its control over you. Machiavelli once said, "The wise man does at once what the fool does finally." And today, you have chosen wisdom. You have chosen control. You have chosen disciplined ruthlessness, the kind that moves in silence and commands through calm. This is the version of you the world cannot bend, manipulate, or break. The road ahead won't be simple. It never is. But now, every trial becomes a weapon. Every betrayal becomes a lesson. Every obstacle becomes proof that you can't be used anymore. The untouchable are not born. They are forged in fire, sharpened by experience, and protected by self-mastery. Stand tall in this truth. Move through life with clarity and composure. Be the one who acts without asking, who commands without words, who rises without permission. The world may not understand you now, but it will feel your power soon enough, because silence, control, and presence speak louder than noise. If this message speaks to you, like this video, share it with someone who needs it, and subscribe for more strategies to make you stronger, smarter, and impossible to break. You are no longer the version that bends. You are the version that rules. Drop this final affirmation in the comments. I am untouchable now.